You can find our women. Things that I think that we really could capture is the ash, right? The ash, right? The ASH. Every black person should only buy products for their skin from black people that's produced by black people. I'm just saying. I mean, it's something simple, but it's something that all of us need, especially up here in these northern climates where, you know the ash is a serious thing. We can kick some ash, right? Man, maybe that should be the slogan. Kick some ash. You know what I'm saying? Because the issue is we need to start connecting economic development to cultural development because they go hand in hand, because actually the economics are an expression of the culture. For us to take out economics but big up spirituality is foolishness. Even when we look at ancient civilizations. You think Egypt didn't have an economic system? I mean, all of us, it took money to build them damn pyramids. And those people that was pulling, doing however they got them boulders there, however they chiseling them down, they was getting paid. Right? We look at all our ancient civilizations. All of them, out of the culture, came the economics. The culture and the economics walked hand in hand, along with the spirituality. Your culture is supposed to cover every aspect of an individual's life. So we got to start connecting the economic growth of our community to our culture. We got to start connecting the educational progress of our people to our culture. We got to start everything, the political growth of our community to our culture. It's not separate. And if we think it is, we are insane. We are insane. When we try to do things, it don't work because we don't connect it back to who we are. We don't Sasha, hold your mouth shut, baby. When we building, we got to do it culturally. We got to understand, right? And I'm not talking about going back to Kemet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. Because we had a unique experience, and out of experience, we got something that we need to start codifying, I think they call it. We got to start pulling it down out of the mist and start putting it together. We can use the ancient models, but we got to bring something together for the experience that we are having here, particularly in America, as African people. We're not the same. I have to agree with some of the people out there. We say the only difference between us and people in Africa and the Caribbean is a boat ride. And I disagree, because along that boat ride there was and in those places it was different experiences that formed them people. And we have to embrace that culture. That means that we have to work separately. We need to recognize our relation. But we need to also recognize the different cultural pieces. Like, in tribes. You have different tribes. Some tribes you war against, some tribes you don't. Some tribes you have a good relationship with. Some nations got good relationships. Some nations have bad relationships. Some nations are neutral. It's the same with us. Right? So if we want to move forward, we got to embrace our culture, which in a sense, out of which everything else springs, right? You don't get the money first, then you get into your culture. That's crazy. Why do you need your culture once you get the money? That's why we get individuals who make all this money and lose their mind, because they're not plugged into nothing, right? Our culture gives us something to plug into, and I really want to think about that. And it goes back. That's that teeth and those claws of the lion that the rabbit didn't have. And then on top of that, for the rabbit to even go to the assembly, he was acting outside of his culture in the first place. The rabbit's culture is to eat and run. You know what I'm saying? Because at being a rabbit, the lion, nobody can outdo a rabbit at being the rabbit. Right? See, because the fact of the matter is the lions are not eating more rabbits than rabbits are producing. So the rabbits is doing good. As a matter of fact, because everybody big up in the lion. The lions are okay hunters. You know what I'm saying? Because people are like, oh man, because we get to see all the film with all the food that they catch. But the bottom line is, if lions was that good, some shit would be going extinct, wouldn't it? Gazelles would be going, but every time I see the herds is just prospering. Lions ain't really good hunters. You know what I'm saying? But they just don't give up. Right? They ain't catching no rabbits. Let a lion try to catch a rabbit. They ain't gonna be turn out too good for the lion. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so what we gonna do now? Oh, so that came from Aesop Fables, alright? The story that we covered last week is Hares and the Lions. The one coming for next week is the Lark and her young ones. Now, I remembered I ain't read it yet, but I kind of remember because I went through all these already. And y'all need to get ready because one of the next books I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do a contemporary version of Aesop Fables. I already did one called Seven Sticks. That one's for my kids, but they ain't, they ain't going to appreciate it till I'm dead. And that's cool. I can dig that. But they'll have the book. Yeah, till I'm dead. Yeah, y'all won't appreciate the book till I'm dead. Also, that's on YouTube. If anybody want to get it to read, I read it and everything. So I got an audio book already out too. But now we also did tribal quotes, and in tribal quotes, this week we covered the beginning of establishing life through the knowledge of the energies. I'm gonna read through them real quick. Now I need to be specific. The first three are not Erskine Peters. The first three are direct quotes from different countries. That's why the beginning of the show was like it was, because I wanted to go through those. I usually skip those, but in salute to Erskine Peters, I read them because he put them in this chapter, and it was exactly 3, so I did 4, so that I could make sure that y'all knew that we was going to do a little bit deeper than just the straight Proverbs. We was going to do what Erskine Peters put in here. So the first one is, he who cannot dance will say the drum is bad. That's Ashanti. A fool and water will go the way they are diverted. That's from Ethiopia. To make preparation does not spoil the trip. That's Ghana. No, Guinea. All right, and the one directly from Erskine Peters, which is the first one. Human beings are related like everything else, to every other part of creation, that is, to every other aspect of the cosmos. Energy is always alive, radiating, and vibrating to some degree. All existence interact and is interconnected by this activity of energies, say the knowledge holders. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but those are the Proverbs of the week that y'all can start going through and digesting and stuff like that. Eventually, when I start getting help, because somebody said they want to get me a producer or whatever, we'll be able to post exactly what I do over the air. I can actually take pictures of them. I'm just lazy. I don't feel like doing that. And so that you could go and study these over the week. Because I'm telling you, once you really start getting into these folk tales and these proverbs, right, they start lining you up with your culture. So that you can start seeing some of the wisdom that your folks had, right? Because a lot of times we get mesmerized by the mechanical skills of our ancestors. We get mesmerized by the spiritual knowledge of our ancestors. But we skip right over the everyday living knowledge and living wisdom that our ancestors actually function with. And that's what we're missing. Because all of us wasn't pharaohs. All of us wasn't kings. All of us wasn't princes and gods of war and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of us was trash men. Some of us was the community drunk. I mean, that's the lineage you come from. Accept that shit. You know what I'm saying? Move to something greater. You know what I'm saying? We got to be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I know I stopped that shit years ago telling kids, we come from kings and queens. No, motherfucker. Somebody had to build the castle. You know what I'm saying? There was builders in the community. You know what I'm saying? There was peacekeepers in the community. There was war makers in the community. There was hell raisers in the community. You know what I'm saying? There was mothers and fathers in the community. Everybody wasn't the boss. Right? And it's obvious that a lot of y'all out there that think you descended from kings and queens, you motherfuckers came from the pig herders. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line fact. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really. You know, I think my daughter laughed on that one, right? So, that's what? Pig herders? Some of y'all was shepherds. We needed shepherds, right? We needed hunters. We needed weapon makers. All of y'all thinking y'all from kings and queens. Stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all was just there. Some of y'all was just taking that broom. Some of your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Because we had we had the same problems we got today. You know what I'm saying? Except we have been taken and been held hostage. Right? So that added a little bit of difference. But human beings are human beings all over the world. You get good ones and bad ones in all shapes and colors. We had some bad ones and we had some good ones. And some of y'all come from some of the bad ones. Some of y'all come from some of the good ones. Some of y'all come from royalty. Some of y'all come from working class. Some of y'all were the scholars. Come from scholars. Some of you weren't. But we do ourselves a disservice when we're not honest with our kids. When we're not honest with ourselves. Right? Now, last piece and then I'm going to get up off of this. Speaking of honest. I'm going to work on it this year. And some of us have to be honest with ourselves and we have to be honest with our babies. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the behaviors that we are operating with are not culturally correct and they're not healthy. Right? I work in an environment where I'm seeing unhealthy shit all the time. Right? Some of us need to pay more attention to our schools where we send our kids all day. Some of us need to take days off, come up there and chill with our children. Some of us need to come in there and work with them so that you can see some of the shit that's going on around your kids and some of the shit that your kids are doing. Right? Because a lot of our kids are absent. A lot of them are absent. Right? I mean, a lot of us are absent from that. And because we're absent from it, our schools and our communities are falling apart. And we need you, parents. We need you. And we don't need you coming up there to just be an advocate for your kid. We need you to come and be an advocate for our children. Because the very kids that you ignore may be the ones that may one day hurt your kids. Right? That's why I got into doing what I do. Right? Adopting and doing the stuff that I do. So, hey, this is Brother Hatim. I'm being swamped by my kids. And we gone. Y'all say peace.
Peace. Do you listen to some music? We're gonna read this today.
Peace. This is Brother Hatim, and you have joined us on Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.gye-nyame.
All my brothers and sisters.